Episode 3, my friends. Welcome aboard. Episode 3 of L&D so far and in future. And I'm a little excited today. Why? Because I stand tall on the shoulders of today's guest. When I began my career in soft skills and behavioral training, my mother had difficulty explaining to people what on earth that was. I could explain, but getting people to invest money in that was another ball game. Thanks to people like Ashutosh, today there's a nationwide market for soft skills training, and we freelancers have it a little bit easier. Welcome, my friend. Welcome on board.
Thank you, Debanik. And your smile always makes a day for anybody else who looks at you. Thank you so much for your warm welcome.
Goodness. My viewers are looking at you now and wondering, I suppose, who's saying that to whom? Anyways, what I want to ask you then, that leads me to this, there are many wonderful people in our field. They're good at what they do, they're good people, they're warm people. What is different about Ashutosh?
Well, I think the only one differentiator I would look at, which is difficult, but if it still has to be just put into like one differentiator, has to be the resilience. So every time life has given me a challenge, has pulled me back, ability to bounce back and go even further. That has been the case all my life. And I think that is a big differentiator.
So then, if I've understood you, this has happened a number of times and you've got up many times, right?
Absolutely right. In fact, as a child, I always had a dream to play for India, play cricket like Sunil Gavaskar and become one. However, and suddenly at one fine day, it was snatched away from me as my father was a government servant and we were transferred to some small town where there were no facilities available. So in such a case, I had to hand over my kid to the next man in line, waiting at benches for his turn and said, tell him all the best and move on. And it was a difficult time for me. Later again in my life, when I started to do
Sunny
well in my
days
master,
taken away from you.
Completely and completely suddenly at one fine night. And when then I moved on and I started to get into mass communication after doing that, and I was working with the media industry, something similar again happened. And this whole dream of becoming an advertising expert was also taken away from me one fine day. And I had to look for next calling. And well, I found my love
Heartrending.
of life. And I found my love of life in sales and marketing when I was doing the course from NIS Sparta. I had many gurus there who really guided me well, mentored me well, and later on, in fact, became my bosses also when I started working with them. And they really taught me a hell lot of things. And during that only I got trained to be a trainer, and here I am today.
So your third crush was your lifelong love. Now,
Yes.
for people like me who share that with you, the passion for training, we're having difficulty in that particular love life thanks to COVID, right?
Yeah. So
what is Ashutosh doing to cope with that?
So there is nothing new, right? There's nothing new. As I just said, I am quite habitual to now look for new avenues. So life has already tested me a couple of times earlier. So this time again, so suddenly one fine day we were snatched up again those opportunities of traveling, going to different places, conducting different trainings, travel plans booked, tickets booked, halls booked, everything was there, taken away one fine day again. When our PM appeared on screen and said, Behno, Bhaiyo, Mere Deshwasiyo, things were taken away from us that day itself. And well, then again, as I am now quite habitual, bounced back and we realized, we looked at the opportunity and we started with VILT, the virtual instructor-led training platform. But we started as the webinar platform called Learning Conclave, which is group of friends, group of people. I'm very blessed to have those who, with their help, with their mentoring, I started this platform. And by the way, this has already started to give us a lot of training revenue coming from here. So that's how the life has again moved on in the corona days.
Yes, when I joined that platform, I had no idea that I was doing anything for profit. We were just sharing. But what
Yes.
you informed me the other day was that that is bringing in revenue now. Business
Yeah.
automatically came. But
Yeah.
that raises a very relevant question. Offline, when you and I stand up to train, we just flow. It's in our blood. It's so different now. What makes a good online trainer?
A very relevant question, Debanik, in today's time. So, and I've seen many ace trainers, the great trainers, falling flat because they could not adapt this new technology, the new skill. Since they couldn't adopt it faster, they failed. So now I tell you what the 4C model is all about. The very first C is your
Four
camera
C's.
presence.
Okay.
4C's model. So one first C is your camera presence. How do you present yourself in front of the camera? Because whatever you do or you do not do, camera sab dekhta hai. So therefore, you have to really manage your presence on the screen very well, because your job is not only as a trainer, but you have to also act like an entertainer or the VJ in the reality TV show. The second C is camouflaging. So like the VJ does, you will have to also camouflage a lot of things behind you. So you cannot show your background, which is the fact, the reality today, if it is not that good at the moment. If you are staying in a small house, you can't do much about it. But what you can do is to camouflage and make your background look nice and presentable, and not distracting to the audience. At the same time, the things like, in fact, in the way you dress. So it doesn't matter if you're wearing Bermudas under your suit, but as long as your presence in front of the camera looking nice to the people, it's okay with them. Third part is your confidence and conviction. The conviction and confidence in what you do and what you say is extremely important, because that comes out of your body, that oozing out of your body language. And if it is not so, people will make out fast. And the fourth is the content, the relevance of
Yes, you
your
cannot
content.
not communicate. You're being watched.
Absolutely. And therefore, even the fourth point, Devanik, here is your content relevance. The content has to be relevant to the today's issues, today's problems. Working from home is a big challenge in itself. So how do we handle this challenge? So therefore, my training content has to, my talk, my webinars, the content has to be relevant to the audience of today, addressing their problems of today. It has to be well researched. I can't be just saying something or the other and get away with it. But today is the time when I'm watched. Third, it also will need to be well rehearsed. So the content has to be realistic, real time, well rehearsed, and well researched. If this is the 4 C's you're following, I think you're okay with it and you're good to go with it.
So offline, we used to say, no talking to the board, no talking to the whiteboard. Now today, as I'm talking to you, had this been a class, imagine me training like this when I'm putting something into the chat box.
That's completely no. So you have to be street smart. Put your
So no
stick-ons
talking to
on
the
your
board, no
screen.
talking to anything else.
No looking around here and there, no looking at the keyboard. You got to be street smart, and you have to have a person helping you with those administrative issues. And you have to have a stick-ons, the posters, or even the pictures of people available to you who are there right at the back of your screen, which you can refer to while you're talking to people.
Amazing. So Sunil Gavaskar, your icon, was not a bowler, but Sunil Gavaskar II today has absolutely bowled me over. I'm clean bowled. We'll say our
Thank you.
goodbyes now. I hope you're doing okay on
Thank you so
time.
very much.
I
Yeah,
hope you're doing
thank you
okay
so
on
much.
time. Okay.
Yes, we are. Thank you. Stop the
Thank you so
recording
much.
now. Thank you.
And this was more than an interview for my audience. They love it. This was a class.
Thank you.